Hey plant fam, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I'm just laughing at myself because I got things stuck to my lip gloss and I was struggling there for a minute. I thought you should know. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Jacqueline and this is my Pothos jungle. Oh no, I just danced. I like Pothos a lot. And I want to preface this by saying that these plants are thirsty. Don't judge me. I'm just keeping it real. I don't notice that they even need water sometimes until I pull them down and I'm like, oh, homegirl needs a drink. So I'm going to start this by just pretty much showing you every Pothos that I have, and then we're going to discuss the differences between them and how to take care of them. So Pothos is actually a group of plants. I forget the history behind the name of the word Pothos. I think that my girl Marina over at Millennial Planter actually did a really great video about Pothos where she went into detail about where that name came from. The actual plants that are considered Pothos are usually Epipremnum or Scindapsus. So they are two totally different plants, but they are both considered Pothos for some reason that I'm pretty sure she explained in that video, and I will link it for you below so that you can check it out because my memory is not the best. So we're gonna start with this most basic golden Pothos that you can tell needs water because she's looking a little droopy. I know she's happy when this leaf in particular is sticking out straight, which it was like yesterday. So clearly she's thirsty. I bought this in multiples. You would have seen me, I repotted it in one of my videos. Two separate plants in one. I loved this big leaf. I love the variegation on this big leaf. And this is your standard golden Pothos. So it's just green with some yellow or chartreuse splashes of variegation. And then I'd say the next one that's most similar would be my Marble Queen. You can see she's also green with splashes of yellow, but it's not quite as yellow. It's almost more creamy. I'll show you the two side by side. You can tell the difference. And you can see that this one still has tons of like green foliage in it, and this one really does not. One of my favorite leaves is actually back here. It looks so silly when I'm trying to see if you can see. The thing I've noticed about this plant too is that even with these really big leaves, they still seem to maintain, I just poked myself in the nose with this plant, like up my nose. They maintain this more like elongated heart shape, if that makes sense, which is something that I notice about Pothos, or Epipremnum specifically. Not always though, because you could see this golden Pothos definitely has a big, wide, mature leaf on it, but they do seem to feel more elongated to me. You can see that in this neon Pothos, Epipremnum aurum, or is it Orium? I've heard it both ways. This one needs water. This is how you know when your Pothos needs water. It's not going to die anytime soon. That's part of the reason why I like these plants, but they'll let you know. Probably should have watered it before doing this, but you know, that's not always how things work out. So yeah, this is the neon Pothos. If you can tell, the color of this is just lighter green than the green in here. But otherwise, they're the same plant. And then there's also the jade pothos, which is just exactly like the neon pothos, but the leaves are all going to be just plain green. That darker green. Oh goodness, I forget. I'm tangled in it. Oh my gosh, help. Send help. Stop. I'm trapped. Okay, we're good. I made it out alive. It's okay. This chick is just really, she gets long so fast. I just trimmed her. She needs another haircut. Can't remember the scientific name. Epipremnum pinnatum. There we go. Just came to me. So if you could tell, these leaves are more of like a bluish hue, which is why it's called the Cebu blue. So I don't know if you can even tell. Probably not. Wasting my time here. But the shape of these leaves is also more elongated. I love the veining. This is one of my favorite plants for sure. She grows like crazy. Like crazy. Next one that I have is actually my Mandula. So I don't know the scientific name for this one. I'm assuming it's an Epipremnum based on the way that it grows. But the leaves, as you can see when they get big, they're very wide. And I know that this is a hybrid between, I'm pretty sure, like the Marble Queen and something else. And I can't help but feel like that something else is something with a wider leaf. It reminds me more of a philodendron, the way that it kind of has these little, what I call tails at the end, which pothos don't usually have, which is actually a good way to tell a difference between your pothos and your philodendron. The vining ones can look really similar if you're not familiar with all the different types. But yeah, this is my Mandula, and you can tell that this is a Mandula because of the shape of the leaf and because the way that it is variegated. You could see on the edges here, it almost looks like it's painted on as opposed to the splotches, which is honestly my favorite part of this plant. These edges here, the way that it looks like it's painted, because in the middle here, it honestly just looks like this one. Which is why I think it's easy to get them confused. But in my last plant shopping with me video where I went to Home Depot and Walmart, you would have seen that they actually had tons of Mandula mislabeled for, that's what I forgot, my pearls and jade. Hold on, let me go get it. So this one I got at Home Depot. It was super sad. I kind of had to rescue it. But if you could tell, the variegation on here is totally different than the variegation on here. So why this was labeled as this is kind of like beyond me, because they look like two totally different plants. But hey, if you want a Mandula, you just got to know what it looks like, because honestly they tend to just be labeled as some other type of pothos in Home Depot. This is one of my favorites, and it did nothing for a long time, but now it's got this little leaf here. So cute. And this little leaf here. So it's finally starting to do something. I'm pretty excited about it. This is one of my favorites when it comes to the variegation. I want to highlight the variegation on here because I'm going to be comparing it to the Enjoy, so that you could tell the difference between the two. So they look pretty much exactly the same, but I don't know if you could tell in the white parts of these leaves, there are little teeny tiny green splotches. Sorry, just adjusting the light. Do you see the teeny tiny little green splotches? Stop focusing on my face. And then this, you would have seen in my last video, is an Enjoy. So if you can see, there are no splotches in the white areas at all in this leaf. And that's how you tell the difference. So that covers all of the Epipremnum Pothos varieties that I have. Next, we're going to talk about Scindapsus, and then sadly I only have one type of Scindapsus, but it is beautiful and also needs water. But this is the Scindapsus pictus, otherwise known as the satin pothos or silver satin pothos. This is the smaller leafed version with just your normal average amount of silver variegation. There's lots of different varieties of this that I would love to obtain. I have a larger version of it that I'm still in the process of making it more bushy. It gets straggly down at the ends here. One of these vines is like totally dying. Something that I learned recently about Scindapsus that I found interesting, I learned in a video from Summer Rain Oaks, is that it's actually a shingling plant. But we're going to get to that in a second. So something that I wanted to note about pothos in general is that they are epiphytic plants, which means that they actually prefer to be growing up surfaces in nature. So you'll find them growing on trees and rocks, and they want to climb. If epiphytic is too much of a word for us, we can just say that they are climbing plants. So the way that we have them vining in our house is not actually usually the way that they prefer to live. Of course, they're going to live, but that is why we get increasingly small foliage at the bottom as opposed to the larger leaves at the top, and why we continue to need to chop these and put them back in the top of the plant, because these vines are just desperately searching for something to climb on. That's why they have aerial roots, these little nodes here, you can tell, where roots will actually grow and just kind of take hold and grab onto anything textured. That's why I have a moss pole in this Marble Queen here, because when I purchased her, she had one vine in particular here that is massive, that had so many aerial roots that it actually felt like a disgrace not to allow her to climb. I felt like that is what she wanted to do, and who the heck was I to deny her of that? So I don't love the way she looks right now. I don't love the location that she's in, but we're doing the best we can to try and make more space. I love this babe though, and she's putting out new growth at the top, so that's always a good thing. She seems happy. It's just that I have her kind of up against a wall, so there's one side that's pretty sad and bare back here. That's just kind of what happens, and I don't like to rotate her because then I don't want these leaves to go yellow and fall off as well. So we just need to find a better place for her eventually so that she can just grow and give me great, big, beautiful variegated leaves. Because the more these climb, the larger their leaves are going to get at the top. If I didn't make that perfectly clear. Now we know why these leaves down here are so tiny compared to these leaves up here that are much larger. See the size difference. If I were to let this climb up something, the leaves would actually get really big, and some of them are actually known to get fenestrated the way that the Monstera here will get. And I don't know, girl, if you've ever seen a picture of a Cebu Blue with fenestrations, but my heart, I can't even handle it. It is the most beautiful thing. It is so stunning. So yeah, that is my pothos collection. That is how I tell the difference between them. When it comes to care for pothos, I mean, you can see it's pretty simple. This has been probably like a week or two of me not watering it, and it's just starting to droop now. I'm gonna throw it in the shower with all the rest of these, give them a good soak, and that's it. I let it dry out almost too much But there's really no such thing as too much with these plants unless you legitimately do not water it, period. And even still then, it probably won't die completely. It'll just lose a lot of leaves in an effort to try and keep its energy only going to a few. So they're very, very resilient, very, very drought tolerant. The best way to know is honestly just pick it up. This plant is very light right now. When I water it, it's heavy. That's kind of something that you just pick up on. I remember the first time I heard people saying that, I was like, what do you mean how heavy the plant is? Honestly, when the leaves get curly like this, it's time to water it. But it's not gonna die anytime soon if I don't water it. Like right now, it's not my Photonia, it's not a Calathea, it's not a Drama Queen. And these, you could see, like I said, are pretty curly too. These legitimately will like curl up into a roll. How cute is this pot? They don't need a lot of light. These are considered low light plants, which I don't really like to call any plants low light because your plants need light. They will survive in a low light environment, but they still prefer more light than just a dark corner. They will survive. Plants like this will lose their variegation if they don't get enough sun. It may not grow. The leaves really won't get very big. If it does grow, there'll be little baby leaves. So if that's something you're okay with, then by all means keep it in a dark corner. That's fine. It will survive. It just won't thrive. Variegated plants usually like more sun so that they can keep their variegation. I give this babe as much sun as possible, and she continues to put out stunning leaves like this that some of them honestly are so creamy that they just don't even stand a chance. They just turn brown. But I enjoy them while they last. That's what pictures are for. I think that's it. You just need to keep them in well-draining soil. They don't like to be wet. They much prefer to be thirsty than to be drowning. I'm in a legitimate jungle right now and I love it. So yeah, that is my Pothos collection. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I think next we might talk about my cactus collection. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I would love to have you back for the next time that I need to realize that I have to water my plants. Hit the notification bell if you want to know exactly when I upload. I'm not on a specific schedule just yet, but I am uploading at least once a week, if not more than that. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I love these little baby leaves. I don't care if it's trailing. This is one of my favorite plants of all time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you next time.